All right. Now, no talking, okay? No talking now. All right. Joseph wants to purchase a new Honda CRV. The base price. The base price, which is also known as the standard price, okay, is that much. Wants the hybrid model and upgrade to 19-inch wheels and some other options. What is the sticker price of this car? So the province will do a mix between boxes like this, or the information will be in the word problem. You have to be comfortable with either case. So for sticker price, I don't know if you remember, what I'm going to do here to show my work is everything that is options, I'm going to put it in one bag, okay? So all of these numbers here are options that I'm adding on top of that base price. So those options add up to, I don't have my calculator, I have my key ready for this one, so I'm just going to quickly add this up. That's 17,350. Is that correct? Does anybody, you checked it? Okay. 17,350. So for the sticker price, there's a formula that I gave you. So it's 36,860 plus 17,350. Okay, so you add up all the options. Then we're going to add freight and PDI. Air tax is given. And that's it. You wouldn't even add the trade-in, even though it says not applicable. One thing that's missing here is the tire tax, right? No tire tax mentioned, then don't add it. Whatever is in the question, that's what you're going to go with. 56,260. Okay? That's that. How much will this new car cost him plus tax? That's when I use this one. And basically, the formula calls for the sticker price minus the trade-in. There is no trade-in, so it's just zero. And then we add 12% tax to that. And so that answer is $63,011.20. Okay. Oops, you can see that, can you? So remember, when there's no trade-in, don't worry about it. You can go minus zero or can just ignore that part. But it's 63,000 that was paid. Joseph would like to know how much taxes he paid. Determine the taxes paid. I will say this. I like you, to be safe, I would use my formula again. So it's sticker minus trade-in, but instead of 1.12, you just go 0.12. This is the safest way of doing it. There are other ways. Some of you maybe subtracted numbers. That's fine. So if you do that, you paid 6,750. There's something wrong, right? Oh yeah, that's right. Thank you. So this is supposed to be 60, right? Sorry, if you're copying this just now, make sure you change that. That's a good moment, time to. How much do you think you would have lost in this on this entire page on an exam by doing what I just did? Half a mark once, that's it. It's called a transcription error. When we see that you just copied it wrong, half a mark off, otherwise you get full marks everywhere, okay? You lose half a mark once. So I fixed that on my calculator. This is how much taxes you paid. $67.51.20. Joseph did not mention that he had a car to trade in to prevent the dealer from inflating the price. So I don't know if I would suggest this too. Don't tell your dealer that you have a trade-in, okay? If you do, they might actually like bump up the price, who knows? And so then all of a sudden he says, actually I do have a trade-in and it's valued at this much. Calculate the total purchase price plus tax. So use this formula again. You use the sticker price, and in this case, you just subtract the trade-in, which is $76.89. And we will apply taxes to what remains, okay? When you subtract it, make sure you do the brackets first. Okay, very important. Guys, if you want a different seating arrangement, I can make that happen, all right? So you make sure you honor that seating plan you have right now. There we go, $54,399 and 52 cents, all right? That's how much it is after the trade-in, okay? Right. We're going to fast forward to this part right here. We're on page 4 for this. And we started to talk about depreciation on Friday, but I want to make sure you know how to do it without the table. Okay. So if you have different color highlighters, probably a good time to use them. Okay. So when you buy your car brand new, okay, it depreciates, it loses its value. But you can tell that every car will have a slightly different rate of depreciation. Some cars will lose it very fast. So this one, for example, loses it much faster than the rest. When does a car tend to slow down in its depreciation rate? If you look at this, it's approximately after 9 years, a car slows down significantly. It doesn't lose as much anymore, okay? So you have that one there. You have a mid-range car, okay? It loses it that's when it starts slowing down significantly. And you've got this car who's doing best in terms of retaining its value. And after 9 years, it kind of slows down, okay? And so this is the age where it slows down, okay? Slower rate, okay? After 9 years. So if you want to buy a car that's 10 years old, you buy it today, you drive it for 3 years, maybe you had a bit of a fender bender or you scratched it, not a big deal. If you want to sell it in a year or two after you bought it, chances are you can get the same amount back. If you treated it, if you clean up the interior, whatnot, you can probably get about the same back. You're not going to lose a whole lot of money. So if you're not sure what kind of car you would like to have in the long run, maybe buying an older car is the way to go. And some of you are saying, no way, I'm getting the coolest car, that's going to be my first car. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just telling you that if a car is 9 years or 10 years old, it slows down in terms of the value you're going to lose. Okay? So that's why buying new is not advisable, because you're going to lose a lot of the money. Then we did actually a calculation in terms of depreciation. And I kind of rushed through this on Friday, so I want to make sure you understand. Okay? Pay attention to this. This is a common error. The question says 20% loss per year. Students calculate 20% and they multiply that by 3. That is wrong. That's not correct. You lose 20%, right? That's why we subtract. And then the next year, you lose 20% of what remains after the first year. So the amount you lose does go down from year to year. It doesn't stay the same, okay? So that's one thing you need to make sure you understand. We're going to go to page 5. And did I assign this page? I don't think I did. I would like you to just follow along with the first two there, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of time to do one by yourselves there. Determine the total depreciation. There's two parts to this. Total depreciation. Let's write down what that means. Total loss. And you want the value of the car, value after 2 years. We call this the depreciated value. Like how much did you lose and how much is the car worth after the 2 years? So I'm going to do a table again. We are losing the same amount per year. Question, do you think it's always going to be 25% every single year? Could there be scenarios where a question says 25% the first year and then 15% the second year? Yes. So please just read carefully. 25%. Okay, so we start with this amount. Never add taxes to a depreciation question. Just don't do it. They promised me, I always email the province, they promised me never to do taxes when it comes to depreciation. So don't worry about it, okay? So we go 34,398.50. We're going to figure out what 25% is. You grab your calculator if you can. I figure out what 25% is. And it's 8,599.63. Right? It's 625, so it rounds to 63. I'm going to put down what I start with here. And I subtract my loss. So at the end of the first year, I'm down to 25,798.97 cents. By the way, this could be one question on the exam, guys. What's the car worth after 1 year? Boom, this would be your answer. This is the one you would want to circle. But we've got to keep going, right? So we take that number, leave it on your calculator, by the way, don't touch it. Right? Leave it on your screen. We're just going to go ahead and write it down here. Multiply that by 25%. 6,449.72. Ooh. $87 here, up here. I was just testing you guys. It is 87. Thank you. I appreciate that. Does that mean this is off? No, this is right. So I just copied it wrong. This is still the right number. So this is supposed to be 87. That's what Akil is saying. I appreciate that. So 87, 87. Yeah. Then we have this. So we subtract it. And I'm just going to have to take my word for it. So I used the table to do my calculating, but I'm going to be honest, I will not be using the table from now on. It'll just be free-handed, and I'll show you how that is done. This is just to organize our thoughts. So total depreciation is going to be found by just adding the amounts we lost every year. And that is 15,049.35. Depreciated value is going to be just this number right here. If you look up, it's just that one, right? Is there a different way to get this number if I know this? I take what it was worth at the beginning, I subtract all that I lost, and then I'll be left with this, right? So either way, I'm just going to use it because I have it right there. So you lost almost half of the value of the vehicle, right? So let's do it. This is the one, if you need a study sheet entry, guys, for depreciation, this next example is the one I would put on, okay? If that's the one you need. Determine the total depreciation and the value after 3 years for the following vehicle. This, I'm just going to tell you, 3 years is the max I've ever seen on a provincial exam. That's why I'm going to go 3. Most of the time it's 1 or 2. So I'm going to show you a 3-year example, and then you know how far it can possibly get. Assume that there's a $5,220.30 depreciation the first year. What is that? Yeah, go ahead. And 15% the second year, which tells me that I made a mistake. To simplify this, I'm just going to ask you to make this a 2-year. Turn that 3 into a 2. That's how I'm going to approach it. Okay? So here we go. Year 1. I'm going to go 26,101.50 minus, what happened here? It's just a subtraction because they already gave me the dollar amount. So it's faster. And the reason I'm doing this, because you never know what the province is going to do. Okay, so at the end of the first year, I'm left with this. And now year 2. So I'm just going to go year 2. I take that I'm left with. And this time I got to multiply it by 15%. So there it is. I lost 3,132.18. So I got to go. This is going to be a little messy, but I'm just going to go minus here. I'm going to subtract this from the previous number. And there it is. 17,749.02. This is the value after 2 years. So the provinces asks you to clearly indicate your answers and then possibly label. Total loss is what? 5,220 and 30 cents plus this amount right here, 3,132 and 18 cents. $8,352. Yep. You can leave it, that's okay. This is my total loss, right? Total depreciation is the same as the loss. So I've done it separately without a table. And there you have it. And I added this question. That's why it says news, to even remind myself, what is that? Determine the depreciation value during the first year as a percentage. How would you do that? Let me try this. If you write a test, how do you normally do it? What do you ask? What is the bottom number? What is the test out of, right? Total. And over here, you'll actually say the depreciation, right? And we multiply that by 100. Something went wrong with the spelling there, but you know what I mean. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the 5,220 and 30 cents. And what is the car worth at the very beginning? 26,101.50. We multiply that by 100. Anytime it says as a percentage, it means divide times it by 100. So 5,220.30 divided by 26,101.50. Multiply that by 100. And what is that? 20%. Exactly. If it doesn't, you have to round, right? So it's kind of like finding what you got on a test, right? What you got out of the total times 100 gives you the percentage on the test. If that ever shows up, you know what to do with it, hopefully. At least you've seen it before. Okay, I want to give you a little bit of practice time. I don't want to talk the whole time, so we're going to go and talk about, I want you to try this. Two decimals. So, you know what, that's a good question. So like in this course, it's always around your final answer to 2 decimals. Okay? There's one exception, which is a different chapter, and it's going to tell you do not round. Like they're really specific about that unit. Everything else, round to 2 decimals. I want you to go to page 10. Question 4. And I want you to try 4A first. And if you feel like you're pretty confident, then you go to B. What is it asking for? Two things every time. Total depreciation and the remaining value after a certain number of years, okay? So I want you to do it without a table. Just, the province doesn't really care how you do it as long as you know what to do. Okay, so I'm going to give you some time to try that. If you're ready, just try page 11 if that's something you still need to get done. And then we'll talk about the rest. Okay, folks, I'll just walk you through one more example here. So just make sure you check. So year one, basically just take that price and it's 25% every year, right? So the percentage stays the same. You lose 6,125 the first year. Watch how I do this. I try to simplify it every time we get a little further. I take this, I go minus 6,125. And then so for year two, I know how much I'm starting with. So it's 18,375, okay? And so I take 25% of that to get the loss incurred on the second year. The second year loss is 93.75. Okay? And I'll do this one more time. I'll subtract here one more time to figure out how much is the car worth once I've lost these two amounts, right? So you end up with 13,781.25. This is the remaining value. Okay? And when it comes to total depreciation,
Trinity Barber, please report to the office, please. Trinity Barber to the office, please.
you add those up and you get 10,718 and 75 cents. Usually the province asks for A, how much is remaining, and then B, how much has been lost, or vice versa. You just have to answer accordingly, okay? For B, I'll just give you the amounts here. Depreciation would be 15,311, and the value remaining is 16,064. And I will most likely post all of these answers later on. So for tomorrow, make sure you know how to do depreciation, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to give you some time yet to do other work to review everything we've done so far. Okay? I want to talk a little bit about pros and cons. That's what the province is pretty keen on. It's like, why should someone not buy a new car, or why should they buy a new car? I'll give you a few that you should have on your study sheet under buying new. So we're going to go to the front a little bit. And I will ask you to go to page 7. And I already got it started for you so you don't have to write down the whole thing, okay? So pros and cons of buying a brand new versus a used vehicle. Are we all back already? I don't want Mr. Carrington to get upset at me. Anyways, pros, lower maintenance cost. And so sometimes the province wants something very short and sweet that's like state. This would be state. If it said state, this would be good enough. But if it says explain, can you read that? Yeah, state and explain. Oh. I thought everybody was back, I forgot. Explain, you would say new cars come with warranty. So if anything major goes, you know that the warranty is going to cover it, right? So that could be a possible explanation. Customization options, right? You can build it. You can add any options. I think I tried that the other day. Is that better? You can add any options you want. Okay, so when it's brand new, I don't know if you've ever been part of that process, but my in-laws, they bought a Toyota Highlander, brand new. So they went online and they showed me this website, and it's basically the prices there on the right side, and they're like, what kind of interior do you want? Leather, fabric? Do you want heated seats? Do you want entertainment package? Do you want like a little GPS unit with a screen? Every time they click, the price went up, right? So they could customize it. The color, there were so many different colors they could choose from. And some colors were way more than the basic like gray or white or whatever. So you can customize it though. You can make it the way you want it. Engine type, right? You want it to be lifted, right? You want off-road package, anything like that. So that's the nice thing about brand new. You get to create it the way you want it. There's no hidden damage, right? Since you are the first owner, okay, there are no previous owners that could have possibly damaged it. Sometimes I'm going to ask you to explain a little bit more. So let's add, for example, you can add options you want. So for example, the color, the trim you want, interior, etc. Okay? No hidden damage since you're the first owner. What did I write here? There are no accidents to report, right? It is safer compared to a used vehicle. New vehicles are equipped with latest safety features. Can you give me some examples of the latest safety features that newer cars have? Yeah. Sensors, lane departure. Yeah. Well, no, you're onto something. Nowadays, you've got multiple airbags, right? You've got like curtains of airbags. Like it used to be just the driver and the passenger, maybe, if you were lucky. Now, the rear passengers are also equipped with airbags, yes. Do you see the side mirrors blinking up when you're coming up to, I don't know if some of you already drive, but you've seen it, right? You creep up to someone and their mirror light just goes on, kind of letting you know there's someone in your blind spot. That's pretty cool. You have, it slams the brakes for you. Did you know that? When the car senses that you get too close to something, it will slam the brake for you, okay? My buddy almost dislocated his neck because he was backing up onto like a hill. And so he went really fast, and then the sensors thought he was going to hit a wall because the hill was like a wall. So it slammed the brake, and his head went right back like this. So it's pretty funny. But anyways, they have the latest safety features, okay? Another good thing about new vehicle is fuel efficiency, okay? They meet, okay, latest emission standards. Okay, there's a pressure by governments and different agencies to reduce the amount of fuel a car consumes. So it's going to be better, fuel efficient. Hey, guess what? Customers want a fuel efficient car, right? Because I don't know if you check the gas prices, they're going up, right? Like, so you want something that's better on gas. Usually get better finance rates. I'm going to leave that one, but a brand new car often has 0% financing or like 2% financing or something like that. What are the cons? We got to talk about the bad sides. Higher depreciation costs, right? You lose most of the value in the first few years. Okay? It's more expensive to insure. It's more expensive to insure. Did you know that? Replacement cost are much higher. Newer cars cost so much more to repair because they have all like exactly like a bumper used to just be a bumper, right? Now it's got all these different sensors in it. Even the front windshield has sensors in it nowadays. Did you know that? You have to recalibrate that windshield because there's a camera looking through it, right? Sometimes. And so they have to recalibrate that. So everything costs more. So insurance companies know that. You pay for freight and PDI, okay? Transportation. You pay for air and tire tax. Air tax is basically for AC, like the air conditioning, and tire tax. What does the tire tax do again? What does it fund? Does anybody remember? The recycling program, the tire recycling program. Okay, I think this is good enough. So now you have, okay, listen to this. I would have 2 pros and 2 cons at least on my study sheet, but obviously try to make them really small, okay? I would suggest you have that, okay? Okay, this is what you cannot do. Listen carefully to this example. So a provincial exam once asked, Joseph wants to buy a brand new car. You as a friend explain to Joseph why he should not buy a new car. If you say, right, if you just say it's more expensive, Akil, guys, quiet. If you say it's just more expensive, that's not going to be good enough. You have to be specific. You can say it is more expensive because it costs more to insure, right? Or it costs more to replace the car, and things like that. So you can't just say, or you lose a lot of money at the beginning. That's also acceptable. Okay, I'm going to ask you to, I said 9 and 11, right? So now I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to say everything from 9 to 12. So go to page 9. And so if you did 9 and 11 already, and you did part of page 10, then you just do whatever you're still missing, okay? And the answer key, I believe, is already posted. You just go for it. All right? So we're going to leave it at that, and tomorrow we're going to start with used car.